Good afternoon. Welcome to the on-record portion of the Rockbridge Report. I'm Tyler DeKarzik, and with me today is Lexington City Council member Chuck Smith. Thanks for joining us today, Chuck.
Great to be here.
All right. Well, I know that you graduated from Iowa State with a degree in chemical engineering. What brought you to Lexington, Virginia?
I was in chemical sales and out of Chicago after I graduated. It was a pretty soft economy, so I took up sales. I was transferred to Atlanta for a couple of years, then I changed jobs, moved up to Lexington to go work in sales for Westvaco over in Covington. So that's how I ended up here in Lexington. Kind of gets under your skin.
Yeah. All right. Well, then you were in sales in Covington, and then you ended up in Lexington. What made you go into politics in Lexington? How did you make the jump from engineering to politics?
Well, I opened my store, Washington Street Purveyors, back about 15 years ago, but I was living in the county and just moved to the city about coming up on 2 years ago. And having moved to the city, being a downtown merchant, I have two children in the public school system, so I've a pretty strong vested interest in the direction the city takes in education and economic development and some other areas. So it seemed like the time was right.
All right, well, jumping right into the economic development, one of the most pressing issues right now for City Council is the R.E. Lee Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
What are your feelings? I know there's been a lot of discussion about the incentive plan.
Mm-hmm.
And last week during the vote, you hesitated a little bit. Why the hesitation?
Well, the motion that was put forward, there were two parts to it, and one part I wasn't quite comfortable with, but in defense of the greater good, I decided that was my yay vote was appropriate.
Which part weren't you as comfortable with?
I can't remember what the motion was now, but
the right of first refusal and then sunset clause, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was the right of first refusal. As far as just a long-term, in perpetuity right of first refusal, I didn't think would be a negotiable item and shouldn't be approached, but. The 90-day sunset clause I thought was important, so it sets a deadline for when, after closing on the proposal and the property, and the proposal has to be agreed upon by both parties, and then closing on the property by the developer, so that it provides a deadline for that to start happening.
Okay. Do you bring a lot of your business experience owning a small business into City Council?
As a downtown merchant, I am always, that's always in my head on what policies the city might be going forward with, how it's going to affect downtown merchants. And in this case, a hotel downtown will affect the merchant base significantly.
Okay. Well, you have one of those downtown businesses. Do you think it would how do you think it's going to affect your business?
Ultimately, it should be for the better. I mean, during construction, as there was in the courthouse, the old courthouse, that construction traffic, as we see currently on the Cornerstone Bank, can be a little disruptive. But it's a sign of progress. It's a sign of growth, and if the people that come downtown can maintain that perspective, I think we'll all be in good shape.
All right. What do you like? How much business do you think a hotel would bring, and why do you think a hotel is a good thing for the downtown district?
Well, if you look at that block of Main between Washington and Nelson, what it was 5 years ago, and what we've come a long way since 5 years ago. We had a vacant courthouse. We had a vacant old bank building. We have the Arley Hotel that isn't being used maybe to its full potential. And then on the corner up on Nelson, there was a small gift shop and a parking lot. And now there's a viable first-class commerce spot going in there. The old First National Bank building's been converted to retail and residential. The old courthouse is now occupied with professionals and support, and the last notch in that process is the conversion of the hotel from its current use to a full-bore downtown hotel. I mean, a lot of comparisons are being made between Lexington and our neighboring cities like Stanton and Waynesboro and even Charlottesville is thrown in. A lot of those cities have a downtown hotel, and this isn't like a keeping up with the Joneses, but it makes perfect economic sense, I think, to get this hotel project up and running as quickly as it can if we want to move forward and maintain the viability of sustained economic viability in downtown.
All right, well, you kind of mentioned that this has been a process, moving things into the courthouse, the construction of the Cornerstone Bank, and then now the hotel. What else do you see in the future as something to help rejuvenate downtown?
As a merchant, I would like to see more. I always think about more first floor retail and less first floor commercial. I think that should be modified to a better critical mass of first floor retail, and then have commercial and maybe a not quite as sensitive area of because right now the economic, I would say the economic center for merchants downtown is on Washington between, let's say, Randolph and Lee. That's a very critical area, and it would be more encouraging to see all of that filled with first floor retail instead of some of the commercial operations in there. But that's market driven, and that's the way it is. But we can all hope.
All right. Well, there's still a couple of empty storefronts, in that downtown area.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any specific businesses or ideas, or what do you think the city kind of needs in that area?
I guess what we need is what somebody feels would be appropriate to put in those spaces. One of the charming and I think beneficial things that the downtown merchant market has is we don't have chain stores. We don't have a Talbot's. We don't have a Chico's. We don't have some of the fashion and design places that are nationally known. So that adds kind of that grassroots hometown flavor to Lexington, and of course it'd be logical to see that kind of flavor go into these empty spaces, and hopefully with the market on the rebound, we can get those spaces filled.
Do you think that was part of what's kind of led to Lexington needing this rejuvenation was the economic downturn?
Well, I think as the city and the Chamber of Commerce and everybody's looking forward, what can we do to improve our viability? And I know since 1988, the idea of a downtown hotel has been a priority, and now we have the opportunity to actually move forward with it. And it will provide jobs. It will provide a place, a property where people can spread the commerce that they bring with them. We already have a great property up on top of the hill at the Hampton Inn Call Alto. I mean, that's a great example of readaptive use in that situation. This is an opportunity to help all of our properties do better, because if we have a hotel downtown, that's going to bring more people here. It's going to bring people to come and spend money and go to our restaurants and shop in our stores and experience what Lexington has to offer. And maybe some of those people that come along say, well, maybe I think I'll open a shop here in one of these vacant spaces. And yeah, they take time, but if we don't take advantage of this opportunity, I think we'll be doing a lot of disservice to our merchants and our community.
Do you have any advice to people who are thinking about owning a downtown shop, or as a small business owner, what's your experience been?
It's a pretty big leap of faith, and there's good times and there's not as good times. I mean, a couple of years ago was not a whole lot of fun when the economy really got soft, and we're still coming out of it. And it's been a long, slow grind, but at least hopefully we're on an incline instead of a decline. I think the stability in the market overall has helped people spend money, because their instability is a real hindrance to letting go of that $20 bill in your hand. Because the next day you might need it for lunch if gas spikes to $5 a gallon.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Well, and I'm Tyler Tokarczyk, and I'm Tyler Tokarczyk for today's on record portion of the Rockbridge Report.